Rakata Yahweh,
Rakata Yahweh,
Rakata Yahweh Shah,
Rakata Yahweh Shah,
Rakata Yahweh,
Rakata Yahweh,
Rakata Yahweh Shah,
Rakata Yahweh Shah.
Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bashim Akakunas. All right, double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone, and salutations to you brothers that's pushing the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so the topic that we're going into, today, we're going to go in on the Gentiles. All right, so you got, what's going on with vocab alone. All right, they're coming up against the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. And, we teach this word according to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. And at the end of the day, the words of the Lord is going to stand. All right, and it's going to be truly shown who were the Gentiles. All right, according to the scriptures. All right, so you have the Gentiles. All right, the natural Gentiles, which are the heathen. All right, and in order when the scripture says, "Study to show thyself approved." All right, so you, according to the understanding of the Bible, you should know. All right, who are the Gentiles? All right, which are the other nations. In the particular scriptures, and then you have other scriptures that talk about the Gentiles who are Israelite foreigners. All right, you should be able to identify those in the scriptures. All right, and we're going to go into it according to the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, according to what we have been taught. All right, through our elders, apostles of Great Millstone. All right, and we're going to show you that look, the Lord is not dealing with these other nations. All right, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, the God. The living power is not dealing with the other nations. Meaning, so-called white man, Edomites, they don't have an inheritance with the children of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Like these other nations, they have no part in the glory, in eternal life, and immortality to come. All right, and we about to bring it out in the scriptures. All right, because you got these guys like vocab. All right, you got these other people that are against what we're speaking. All right, they're coming up against the word. All right, but the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is going to make it. He's going to make it stand, and he's going to let it be known that the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah coming from through the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, to the men that taught them. All right, all the way back to the spirit of Yahweh Shah himself. Through the spirit of the Heavenly Father, man, Yahweh. All right, so and this thing is going to come to pass. All right, so y'all got the scriptures.
Yeah, I got one. This is Matthew 10, verse 5, and this is the commission, right? It says, these 12, or the instructions to the disciples. It says, these 12 Yahweh Shah sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Read it again.
This is Matthew 10, verse 5. It says, these 12 Yahweh Shah sent forth and commanded them, saying.
So it was 12 men that Yahweh Shah sent forth, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. 12 men that Yahweh Shah sent forth. Keep on going.
It says, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles.
He told them, God, go not into the way of the Gentiles. Continue.
Yeah, which those Gentiles was the actual heathen Gentiles, right? So I'm just keep going. It says, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep.
So these were cities that were actually heathen. All right.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, why would the Lord himself say, don't go to these Gentiles, but yet the doctrine that starting with the Christian church, man, because you the ones pushing that shit. Why would he say don't go to those houses, but only go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, man? And the word house, if you look that up, it goes back into family, man. So where did this, he's to everybody for, man? And then, like we've been saying, Paul taught the same thing, and Yahweh Shah didn't teach nothing different than what the prophets of old in the Old Testament, like you like to say, taught as well, man. It's all the same things, that's what we teach it today. It's the same thing. We only teach it to Israel,
And the men, at the command of Yahweh Shah, they went and taught, all right? They went and taught to the house of Israel, all right? Which were specific people, all right? A specific people, all right? And that's separation, man. Okay.
It's Acts 11, verse 19. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen travailed as far as Phoenice and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only.
Read it again.
Yeah.
Acts 11 verse 19. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen travailed as far as Phoenicia and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only.
That separation, the word was preached unto the Jews only. All right, and then it say upon the persecution,
God.
that also means there was a scattering too. All right, and also in the scriptures there was a scattering of our people. All right, and that goes back to the curses. All right, and that's one way that our people became Gentiles because of the scattering. All right, them being amongst other nations. All right.
Yeah, that goes into Timothy's father, which was named the Greek. I get this precept real quick. Would you finish on that? This is Romans 9 and 26. It says, and it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. You know, and that's talking about, keep reading. It says, verse 27, it says, Isaiah also crieth concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. Now we know it's talking about Israel. You know, that the children will be called not their people. You know, now this is a precept right with that precept. Now that was Isaiah's talking, but this is Hosea saying the same thing. It says, then, this is Hosea 1 and 9. It says, then says the Most High, call his name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. And Lo Ami meaning no mercy. You know, verse 10, it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered, nor which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel, meaning the seed of the power. But it says, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, meaning that that's where the promise is. You know, that's who it was for, the children of Judah and the children of Israel.
And we believe
You know?
that the 12 tribes, all right, that chart are the children of Israel today. And we believe that the scattering is going to happen amongst those people, all right, on that side. All right, and you know, vocab has come up against that. All right.
Yeah, that's the coming together. That's the coming together of the two tribes, which those was the strangers. You know, those was the so-called Gentiles. You know, that's showing that the Gentiles is also the heathens of the other nations, and it's also the Israelites. You know, because they just try to come up and be like, well, the Gentiles could be grafted back in, or grafted into the Israel, the promise. You know, and we like that can't be so. You know, because it was never for the heathens in the first place. The only reason why the Gentiles will be grafted in is because our people will take on the ways of the other nations. You know, can you get Jeremiah, like what we read earlier? Jeremiah the 10th chapter. You know?
Yeah, can also somebody hold Deuteronomy 28 and 64?
Read Jeremiah when you get it, bro.
This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right, Yahweh Hashem Al-Shah told us not to learn the way of the heathen, but in the scriptures is well documented over and over again that we did that. You know, we learned the way of the heathen, and we took on the customs of the other nations, which made us Gentiles, which made us heathens. You know.
Get the example in Maccabees, first Maccabees. You know, and we'll show you that in first Maccabees is a prime example. The scriptures say the things written aforetime were written for our learning sake. All right, so this is the example of how our people became like unto the heathens. First Maccabees.
Yeah, this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Now this was a time where the Greeks, all right, they had dominion over the Israelites, all right, and there was a sedition among Judas Maccabees, but it was a time where our people were being persecuted, and they took on the customs of basically the Greeks, all right, and there's an example. Go ahead.
It says, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
So they went and made a covenant, which a covenant is an agreement, all right, and they went and they actually got licensed to do after the way of the Greeks, all right. Go ahead.
It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
So they didn't follow after the customs of the Heavenly Father. They built a place to exercise after the way of the Greeks. All right, and this is part of the reason why if you go into Timothy, Timothy's father, all right, he's a product of that. All right, so he's an Israelite that follows after the customs of a Greek. All right, he lives as a Grecian. All right, he doesn't he wouldn't circumcise his child. All right, and that's what happened to Timothy. All right, Timothy was uncircumcised. All right.
Yeah, the next verse goes into it, basically what it means to be uncircumcised. It says, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen.
So they forsook the holy covenant, the holy agreement, which was the agreement that the children of Israel would sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They forsook that. All right. And since they forsook that, the Lord gave them over to that lifestyle, that way of living. All right. Go ahead.
It says, and were sold to do mischief.
And they were sold to do mischief because they turned their back on the Heavenly Father, so they went after the way of the heathen, which is the way of mischief. All right. And that's the way of death, basically. All right. So basically, they went after Esau because the Grecians are really the Edomites, man. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, continue on. Okay, it says, verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established.
No, you can stop. You got a scripture?
Yeah. If brothers can get Deuteronomy 28 and 64, because at the end of the day, what we saying is, hey, because you got vocab alone and them talking about some Hebrew hopscotch, here a little, there a little, but that's how the scriptures tell us to who should learn. Who got that scripture? Get that for me, bro, real quick. Because, hey, that's how you supposed to learn the scriptures, man. Here it is. We was discontinued from our heritage, so we backtracking and we gotta learn what happened, so we can learn how things are today and how it's gonna be in the future. You got that though?
Yeah. This is Isaiah 28 and 10. It says, "For precept must be upon precept."
Read the scripture before that.
Yeah. It says Isaiah 28 and 9. It says, "Whom shall he teach knowledge?"
That's right. Who shall he teach knowledge? And we're talking about the knowledge from the Heavenly Father, not worldly men's knowledge, man. Keep going.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Because this is what the debate is about, the doctrine. Here it is. The doctrine that we're telling you is that the Gentiles that's in the New Testament, for the most part, is talking about Israelites. And we're going to tell you how. You can't tell us how those Gentiles is to everybody else without saying that this is the same God that was always in the scriptures. And these is the same things as the prophets are saying. Keep going, bro.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Right, which means you got to start all over again. Because what? Our people been filled with bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first oracles of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua of this doctrine is to be taught again. That's the first thing. You got to throw out the Christianity. You got to throw out all of that. and be retaught. You know?
Verse 10, it says, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
Exactly. So it's a puzzle, man. And it says precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. So you want to say Hebrew house gospel, that's how we find learning. This is how we understand, because we learn it through the Spirit, and you guys don't. All right, so we're going to go to the beginning. You got to Deuteronomy, because Scripture says we was going to be scattered, you know, amongst all nations. You got that? Anybody?
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Can you read the verse above that?
Deuteronomy 28, verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do your good, to do you good, and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught.
Right, because at one point the Lord built our nation up, man. You know? But hey, even as Moses said, he said, I know when I pass, you're gonna go whoring after other gods, man. You know, roughly paraphrasing. You know? So hey, that's exactly what it said. As the Lord built us up, you know, he rejoiced over us to build us up. So what? He gonna do the same thing and bring us low, man. So the scriptures told us, according to prophecy, that these things will happen. The nation of Israel was gonna be brought low. You know, keep going.
And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
See? So it said what? First we're gonna be plucked from our land, which means we're not gonna be in our land. We're not gonna be in the land of Israel, all right? Which you damn devils, you knew the Israelites wasn't in their own land. That's why you try to say, oh, through that your Balfour Declaration that they was able to come back. You know, but you didn't do that according to prophecy, according to the correct prophecy of the correct people. You know? But what? It said we're gonna be scattered throughout all the lands. You see? You're gonna be scattered throughout all the lands, man.
And then the Lord is going to gather us from those lands when we were scattered.
People out there.
All right? Not we was going to take a plane or take a boat,
Coming back.
all right, back to the land of Israel, man. All right? And that's what you Amalekites, all right? You wasn't gathered up in the sky, all right, and brought back to the land of Israel.
Right. And the Lord ain't with them. And there's no peace in that land.
Yeah, there's no peace in that land. Yep. It's not going to be peace in that land until the true people of the Lord are in the land.
Yeah.
And we declare through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai the doctrine, in which we learned from the elders of Great Millstone, that he's going to bring us back to that land. You know?
This is Isaiah 11 and 10. It says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek.
Well, which sprang from the root of Jesse? Which came from the loins of Jesse?
David.
King David, Yahweh Shah. All right, because Solomon, you know? All right?
Yep.
And that's going to be like, can you read it again?
It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek.
Yeah, and that's going to be a dark-skinned man. All right? To them shall the Gentiles seek. All right?
Yeah.
And we know who those Gentiles are going to seek to that dark-skinned man. All right? It's not going to be the Edomites.
It wouldn't make sense for it to be.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for the Edomites to seek after that root of Jesse. Or stem from Jesse. The root of Jesse. All right? The Edomites are not going to come to the root of Jesse. All right? Because that's when they see that, that's going to be a terror unto the Edomites, man.
Yeah, then you gotta think like, yo, you just gotta be like use common sense. Like the whole scripture is about the Israelites at this point. So now when it speaks about the Gentiles, now all of a sudden it's talking about all these other nations.
Yeah, it's a thing called prophecy. All right? Hey, Yahweh Shah was mentioned back in Isaiah. All right? Yahweh Shah is in the volume of the book.
Yeah.
All right? Which the Christian churches don't teach. All right?
Yeah.
Yahweh Shah was spoken about in Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy. All right? And they refused to hear Yahweh Shah. That's why they're going to be put to death.
Hey, bro, because, hey, man, today and these times, now, if you look at it, who's really seeking for the truth of the scriptures, man? It's only the actual Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. You don't see group camps. You don't see the Edomite camps. You know what I'm saying? Doing what the
You don't
scripture
see
says
the
they're
Arabs.
gonna do.
You don't even see the Arabs that proclaim the Allah on the streets of America, talking about America's going to be destroyed.
Right.
What they doing?
So who's those Gentiles whom the Gentiles shall seek? Who is that? You know, if you believe in the scriptures and the prophecy gonna be filled, and these times now, because you know you got people saying, yeah, we live in the last days. So who is doing that though? You know, they don't have.
What God is doing that? What God is doing that?
Right. Because we got the sign. We got the sign that say who needs salvation with Jake getting hung up. You don't see Edomites looking for salvation. Why? Because they already in their kingdom.
Yeah.
But this is the sign. This is the standard that's being lifted up.
Oh.
And the Gentiles, the Israelites, okay, the Israelite foreigners who didn't know who they was, they seeking towards that. You know, it's a little bit more on that though. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it again because I ain't finished that verse. It's Isaiah 11:10. It says, "And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious."
That's right. Because we looking for rest, man. We ain't have no rest in this place, man. So our people looking for that rest, man. You know, well, we gonna, hey, scripture say what? Rest with us, man. You know, to you that are heavy laden, you know, rest with us, man. Keep going up.
And that's resting in the hope of Yahweh Shah, man.
Yeah. Simple as that. Hope.
In true well, go ahead, keep on reading.
Verse 11, it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh Bashem al-Shah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea."
Right, so right there, because the first time was when we actually got delivered out of Egypt, man. You know, but he said he's gonna do it a second time, which it said it's still talking about that same group of people, but this group of people ain't gonna be all in one space this time or one place this time.
Speaking of the scattering.
Yeah, because that's what it just said. You know what I'm saying? And it said we're gonna be in what? Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, all these different lands, man.
All over the goddamn place.
You know? So the deliverance, them people is gonna come from all these different lands.
Yeah, and that's why real quick, just a quick hit. This is St. Matthew 15:24. It says, "But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." You know, and that's what Israel, the remnant being scattered is the lost sheep, which Yahweh Shah come to seek. You know, those are the Gentiles that is going to seek.
If I may say,
This is proving, this scripture right here is proving the second deliverance. Also, and it's also proving the Lord retrieving Israel from where they have been scattered. All right. It says Jeremiah 16:14. It says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt." All right. But the Lord liveth, that brought the children of but the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. All right, so the Lord delivered a specific people, all right, out of Egypt, and the Lord is going to deliver them again up out of the land of the north, all right, which we believe that land to be North America, all right, and not only the North America, and from all the lands where he had driven them. All right, so out of all the lands where the Lord, because we got brothers up there in England, all right, there's brothers up over there in the Netherlands, there's brothers in the Philippines, there's brothers in Australia, there's brothers in South America teaching this word, all right, and we believe that these men are going to be delivered, all right, and a part of a mixed multitude, not to mention that in Cush, Pathros, all of those places, men are going to be delivered, man. All right.
Yeah, and it's just spiritual because brothers been going in or the spirit just been on the confusion of faces. You look at those brothers that are Israelites that look like other nations and be like, well, see, that they think they proven a point by that. But no, those are Israelites by nationality. Those are the Gentiles of the lost sheep of the house of Israel, not of these other nations.
Yeah, cause the elder Yahshua, but he did a video, on the confusion of faith, and he said, what? You gonna come at these men that's actually doing more than you, that's like speaking in the name of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, walking that path, and you not doing that, So who are you to judge them men? Oh, and then there was another video, I forget what Apostle posted it, but it was the Edomite pretty much going into it. How they know that the scattered, and the Gentiles is talking about Israelites. Because it said that, if it was really like that, because, it's just these regular ass people that just, it's not these super scholar people, it's just these regular Christians that want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Because the scholars, they know, if they, they really sit back and look, because it said, if he was talking to the Gentiles, where's the, Paul? If Paul was talking to the Gentiles, where's the letter to the Moabites, man? Where's the letter to the Edomites? There's no letters to them. You see?
Right.
So how is it to all people? Just like they try to say, Abraham, our father Abraham. First of all, Abraham didn't father all nations in the earth, man. So they just don't make no sense.
And when Paul was writing his letters, why did he have to say according to the flesh? When he was writing his letters to the Romans. Yeah. You gonna get it? Go ahead, get it. Romans 9.
This is Romans chapter 9, verse 1. It says, I say the truth in Hamashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed for Yahweh Shai, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenant.
The adoption, meaning the bringing back, so he's writing a letter to his people. So why would he personalize it if the Gentiles was other nations? He would have just made just a broad statement to those who believe. He would have brought it all the way. He wouldn't have said anything about the kinsmen according to the flesh. He would have just said, those who believe, I wish I'd have been a curse for them because they were believing in my Lord. He didn't say that. He said, my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who were Israelites. He told you who he was talking to. So now when he's talking to the Romans, now when he write a letter to the Corinthians or to the brothers in Thessalonica, or Corinth, now he's talking to everybody in those lands, but in Romans he was just personalized.
Yeah, look.
Get the fuck out of here.
This is the word for kinsman in Greek.
It's just common sense. These
Yeah.
people not using common sense.
Yeah, see, this whole thing is about, hey, the Lord's mercy, man.
47:73. Sungenes.
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 Sungenes. So that's it's Greek of the same kin, akin to, related by blood, in a wider sense of the same nation, a fellow countryman. Alright? And the Edomites aren't the countrymen of Israelites, man. Alright? He's talking to his nation, basically. Like the brother said, why is Paul writing in Rome? Like Rome had all different nationalities. We're in Rome rebirth again. America copies Rome, and America is known as a mixing pot of all different nationalities. So Rome had all different types of nationalities, but Paul was writing specifically to the Israelites in Rome.
Right.
This is first of all, I want to bring this out really quickly because Paul actually explains why his whole purpose, why he was sent forth from or by Yahweh Shai. And this is his testimony he gave when he was on trial in front of Agrippa. So this is Acts 26, verse 6. And it says, "And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of the Most High unto our fathers, unto which promise our 12 tribes, instantly serving the Most High day and night, hope to come. For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews." Right. Yeah, so the whole purpose, Paul just basically said right there in probably about 10 to 20 seconds, his whole purpose of being sent forth. He was going to the Israelites that were scattered amongst the heathen, and that's about it.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, man, this is all about the Lord's mercy, man, because the Lord talked about the scattering, which this is what these people try to neglect. They try to completely leave off the whole scattering subject when it comes to the Gentiles, man, but that's a major part of it, you know? What's up, bro? Volume? Yeah. And the case is, it's all good. Let me just take it off. You gotta speak up a little bit. Let me fix it real quick. Oh, shit.
Alright, so, you know,
You got it. Keep speaking.
Alright, so what's going on with the Gentiles, the scattering that happened amongst our people?
Verse 12. Isaiah 11. Assembled the house of Israel, gathered together the dispersed Judah from the four corners of the earth. Right. So it shows that who was dispersed and scattered around, even in Deuteronomy, above the Deuteronomy 28:16.
Whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Well, it says scattered. I got it. Yeah, so we know that the nation of Israel would be scattered. So if Yahweh Shai hop back on the scene and say he's not sent, so what? But the timing is say that that he's sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, him being the shepherd. We know who the sheep is. You know, the sheep was never a Edomite. The sheep was never a Moabite or Ammonite. So therefore, a Gentile, obviously we know Gentiles meaning someone that's not the nation of Israel. You know, so ultimately our people, the Israelites, will become Gentiles by taking on the customs. That's why we read Jeremiah the 10th chapter. That's why we were warned not to learn or be dismayed of the ways of the heathen. You know, but we know, according to the curses, that we did. That's why Jeremiah told us we would be discontinued from our heritage. You know, Yahweh Shai's duty was to come back and bring those people back. That was the adoption that we read in Romans. You know, that was the true adoption.
It's still low.
It's still low?
Yeah.
Hold on, I think it might be his phone then. I got something real quick. Yeah, this is Ezekiel 11, verse 17. It says, "Therefore say, thus saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel." Salah, damn it.
That's that rest.
I wanted to start from 16. Salaki. I'm going to start from verse 16. Ezekiel 11, verse 16. It says, "Therefore say, Thus saith Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
And that's what you see on these highways and byways, vocab. All right, you came to a little sanctuary, all right? When you went up there to Chicago with Candy Black, whatever.
Retribution.
Yep. When you came up with her, man, right? All right. You came to the Lord's sanctuary. All right. Hey, that's prophecy is being fulfilled now, man.
Yeah, bro, cause they look at us as this, we nobodies, man. We just niggas, man. And when we say niggas, we talking about the undesirable, man. The people that they just are pretty much an afterthought.
Basically the outcast.
But yeah, and that's why the Lord said, He said, though He's cast us all far amongst the heathen, you know, and we're gonna be a what? It's like a reproach, you know, a proverb. He said what? That He will be a little sanctuary to where in the countries where He scattered us. And then says, therefore say, thus saith Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. So that's all we preaching, man. We saying that, hey, the Lord did scatter us. You know, we was a small number amongst the people, you know, according to them, because we are great in number. But, you know, we have been dwindled and looked at as small, you know. But the Lord said He's gonna give us the land of Israel, man. Still, He didn't forsake us. That's going back into the Lord's mercy, man. You know, see, these people want to read the scriptures, but don't want to they don't want to make everything connect. They don't want to read the whole book. That's why the guy want to say, oh yeah, they're reading the Old Testament. Of course we're gonna read the Old Testament, man.
You read the Old, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha. All right.
Yeah,
you make excuses of us reading the Apocrypha. Some people have.
They can't understand the New Testament without knowing the Old Testament.
Well, that's part of the doctrine. You gotta have the whole roll, man. All right, the Old Testament, the New Testament, all right, the Apocrypha, and you gotta know some history. All right, you gotta know current events. That's all part of the doctrine, man. All right, and it's part of the spirit, which vocab they don't have, man. They don't have the spirit of Yahweh Shah, man. All right, they don't believe in a dark-skinned man. All right, from the root of Jesse. All right.
Just a couple quick precepts, you know, because clearly in the Old Testament, this whole thing was about Israel. And then Malachi 3:6, it says, for I am Yahweh, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. You know, so it's just showing you who is it all about. And then
the Lord don't change His words.
Yeah, and you can prove that in the New Testament as well with Hebrews 13 and 8, it says Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. You know, so it's not going to change. You know, He's always sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yahweh, the Most High, has chosen Israel to be His special people, and that's it. You know, it's never going to change. It's never going to change, no matter however whatever doctrine you want to bring into this. Go ahead, Shmasha.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. It says, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. You know, because even us, before we came to the truth, we were Gentiles. We were acting like the heathen. Okay, worshiping other idols because we didn't know the true Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shah. All right, but once we got the true knowledge, the Lord has waken us up to our heritage. We're Israelites now. We know what tribes we're from, things of that nature. You know.
Yep. Yeah. We come from different backgrounds. The Lord had it where our fathers went off. All right, and now we're in these times where we believe on the doctrine. We believe on Yahweh Bashim Shah, man. All right, and this is what we speak, and we declare that it's of Him. All right, and we know who we learned it from. We acknowledge who we learned it from. All right, and this is what we believe, man. All right, same thing back then. All right, it was men, Israelites that were a part of the thinking of the other nations in which they lived and dwelt in. All right, and they heard of Yahweh Shah, and they believed on Yahweh Shah, and they forsook their old customs, man. All right, it's the same thing, the same exact thing.
Quick research. I actually got two in the same chapter really quickly. This is because you mentioned about having different backgrounds. Of course, because we were scattered. This is the book of Acts, chapter 18, starting at verse 1. After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came into them. So obviously you have a Jew that was born in Italy.
And
Right.
that's the historical. You can find that account. You can find accounts of Claudius and the different Caesars expelling
Yeah.
Jews from different Roman provinces, man. All right, and that's a part of the persecution because they were being persecuted, so they had to move, they had to scatter, they had to leave, man. All right, which was a curse that happened amongst our people, going back to the book of Moses, man. All right, so that was fulfilled in this specific people, which are the Israelites. That wasn't fulfilled in the so-called white man, the Edomites, or these other nations. Only these specific people, which are Israelites, man. All right, go ahead. You got. keep on reading.
Yeah. One more in the same chapter, Acts 18, starting at verse 23. And after he had spent some time there, he departed and went over all the country of Galatia and Phrygia in order, strengthening all the disciples. And a certain Jew named Apollos, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus. So another Jew that was born in Alexandria, which is Egypt.
So you had a time where the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and well, mainly the so-called Negroes, the Benjaminites, the tribe of Judah, all right, the tribe of Levi, all right, and the dispersed, which you did have other tribes of the Northern Kingdom, all right, amongst them, all right, but basically, all right, we dwelt over in those areas, all right, in the areas of the Mediterranean Sea. All right, and there was a time where those people were learning the way, the customs of the nations that they dwelt. All right.
Slide with one more.
Mm-hmm.
Kind. This is the book of Acts again, chapter 24, verse 17. It says, "Now after many years I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings, whereupon certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult." So once again, Jews from Asia.
Why are they coming from Asia to the land of Israel? Why? Because of the custom. All right. There's customs in the law where the people that knew that they were Israelites that dwelt in other lands, they would come to Jerusalem, man, and sacrifice unto the Lord. That's a custom of our people. All right. So the other nations weren't among the custom of the people. Why would they come back to Jerusalem, man?
Right.
They worship, they have their other gods that they worship. It's Israel, the Lord's people, that's worshiping after their gods. All right? And that's simple. Everybody can't make it, man. The Lord only picked the specific people. All right? And the brother's giving you examples in the history. You got to consider this was a specific people that followed after certain customs. All right? The other nations didn't have a want or a desire, all right, to follow after us, man.
Yeah.
All right, the Israelites, man. Because the Israelites were being persecuted, man. They had no power, man.
And still
Still to this
you
day.
know?
Yeah.
And you even got Israelites that know they Israelites but still taking on the customs of the heathen now. You know, you see people on the streets, you know, lined up, you know.
Yeah, suit and tie
Yeah.
amongst our people. Why would they want to do that? Because they following after the custom. Because they want to get ahead because they see the other nations.
And those are Gentiles,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
They in the Gentile state of mind because you taking on the philosophies and the ways to get by in Esau society, man.
Yeah. The
Right?
the
And you
wicked
believe in
Pharisees.
it. You believe this is all you know.
Bro, if I can say, it's a sense of entitlement, and that's just how the Israelites, they always felt, man. They thought that just because the ones, because they always knew, man. They knew the scriptures. They knew that it was gonna be a remnant that was gonna be saved, but they thought that since they was the ones that still, you know, like following the customs, you know, following the laws, as opposed to the ones that was that fell off. Because you know we went into many different captivities. And some of our people stayed amongst those captivities or they fled, you know, during these sieges. So they think, oh, since we still in the land, you know, and we still following laws, that they was the ones that's gonna be the chosen.
Yeah, it was
You know?
one of the curses was that we would go into captivity. All right, that's one of the curses that's distinct to our people, that we go into captivity under another nation. All right, that's particular to the nation of Israel. All right, in every land where they're under that nation. They're subject to being persecuted under the nation that they're under.
Right.
All right, that's a curse unto Israel, man. These so-called white people, they not under these curses.
Yeah, yeah.
These other nations, the heathen, they oppress each other, man. All right, but in particular, these nations that were under mainly the so-called white man in America, we're under Esau. All right.
Yeah, I got a couple scriptures to that point, you know, because they thought that it was just for them, you know, and this is why Paul said what he said, and this is also what Ezra said. I'm gonna get it. This is Acts 13 and 46. It says, then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said it was necessary that the word of the Most High should be first have been spoken to you, but seeing ye put it far from you, ye judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life. Lo, we turn to the Gentiles. For so hath the Lord commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light to the Gentiles, that thou shouldest be for salvation to the ends of the earth. And when the Gentiles heard this, they were glad and glorified the word of the Lord, and as many as were ordained to eternal life believed. Right, because now they thinking that door was always closed to them. You know? The ones that's in their spirit, they want to worship the Lord, but they've been told, oh, you heathens. Because what? The Israelite foreigners was always called heathens. The circumcision called the uncircumcision heathens, pretty much. You know, what's that? Phoenix?
Yeah.
You know? If you can hold that. And then it's also the same thing with this. It's second address. God damn it. I just had it. Where'd it go? This is a bitch. Go and get that, bro, while I find it.
This is Ephesians 2, verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands.
See? So the Gentile, they was called Gentiles, and they was called uncircumcision by those that was called the circumcision, man. So you want to try to just make up shit that don't fit into the damn puzzle, you know? But into this book, that's what fits. You know, the scattered, you know, they know who they were. And then the ones who were still in the land, they was calling these people uncircumcised, man. They was calling them heathens. They was cast out as heathen men, as the scripture said. You know, and this is saying, this is 2 Ezra 2 and verse 33. It says, I, Esdras, received a charge of the Lord upon the Mount Oreb, that I should go into Israel. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught and despised my commandment of the Lord. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. See? So, hey, even right there, it called them heathen, man. And that heathen was talking about Israelites, man. Because it said what? You that hear and understand. And then that hearing and understanding was only given to Israel. And it said what? You should get everlasting life. Yahushua, he only came for his people. It said he shall save his people. You know? So here it is. It was calling the Israelites heathens, man. Why? Because they went out of the customs, man. You know? But what? They still had that ultimate faith. And that's why the Lord said he's going to do a work in your days, man, which you're not going to believe or understand it. So these people can't understand it, man. But the Gentiles, now we got the confusion of faces. You know, they can't understand it. The Lord is opening his mercy into them based upon faith. Not because of your skin color. You know? Not because of where you at. Or because Jake think, oh, it's only us in America.
Yeah, and that's what you try to use as a red herring. You try to use that color thing. Black Hebrew Israelites, and they teach that white people are going to damnation. No, we teach that Edomites are going to damnation. All right, we deal with biblical nationality, which that's the covering that's cast above all people. All right, the so-called white man, the Edomites, them covering up who the true nationalities of the Bible are. All right, they're saying that they so-called white people, that they're white people. All right, they're Caucasian. Every name that they give themselves, man. They call themselves the Jews. All right, all this is gonna be brought to naught. All right. I got something. Let me get me what is it? The second covenant in Hebrews and in Jeremiah, and then I just wanted to bring this out in Deuteronomy.
You want Jeremiah first?
Yeah, and we know that Moses spoke unto the children of Israel. All right, he didn't speak unto the other nations. All right, and I just want to bring this out in Deuteronomy because Moses even spoke of what Jeremiah prophesied of, and what Paul wrote in Hebrews, man. All right.
Can we get Jeremiah?
Yeah, get Jeremiah.
31, 33.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jeremiah 31 and 33. It says, "But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, I will put my law in their inward parts and will write it in their hearts."
So that's what the Lord is going to do. All right. Read it again.
Verse 33, it says, "But this shall be the covenant."
A covenant going back into agreement. A covenant is an agreement. Go ahead.
"That I will make with the house of Israel after those, with the house of Israel."
Mm-hmm. With the house of Israel. All right, not with the other nations. All right, go ahead.
It says, that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, I will put my law in their inward parts and will write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people.
All right, so the Lord is going to do many things. All right, that's what the Lord is going to do. Now let's see what Paul said. Let's get another, like the elder Monagon said, another witness.
Come,
All right.
come.
So this is another witness. Get the witness.
This is Hebrews chapter 8, and I'm going to start at 6. It says, "But now have he obtained a more excellent ministry, by whom much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises."
All right, so a better covenant. All right, a better agreement. That's what we're going to receive. We will receive a better agreement.
Yeah.
All right.
Because the first agreement was to try to uphold it on your own will, uphold the law to its full entirety, which is
And that was
virtually impossible.
And that was the who? That was to Israel, man.
Right.
And then Jeremiah spoke of that covenant to Israel. All right, and Paul is expounding onto it. All right, until his kinsmen, which are Israelites.
Yeah, and it says a better covenant, which will be put in our inward parts so that we won't go off. That's why it's better, you know.
Yeah, because it's the stony heart versus the flesh.
Yeah, so a specific people is going to receive this, man.
Yeah.
All right. Is it going to be the other nations? Can it be everybody?
Yeah.
Or can it be a specific people? That negates the elect. How do you explain the elect of the nation of Israel?
And then they didn't go through anything. So you mean to tell me we had to go through the first covenant, fuck up, you know, go through all this trouble. So now you get the second covenant where it's put in your heart so that you can never go on. You know, so now you don't have to face no punishment. So we was the sacrifice for you to get, like, what? That don't make no
that's even
sense.
another doctrine in itself, man.
Yeah,
that's
don't
another
make no
teaching. That's a
sense.
foreign teaching, man. All right. But what are you teaching, vocab? Like, what are these other people really teaching, man?
The audacity, you know? They trying to get in there.
Do you teach for wanting to be an Israelite, wanting to be a true Israelite? All right. Do you teach people because you want them to be delivered? All right, and force yourself to feel like you're Israelite. What is going on with that? You know.
Because the brother said that's a foreign doctrine. This is Galatians chapter 1 verse 8. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you,
That's another gospel, man.
let him be accursed.
That everybody can be saved, man. Let him be a curse, man. Are you teaching that everybody? The scriptures don't say that. Now give me Deuteronomy 30:3 real quick.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 3. That then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather
Hey,
thee.
matter of fact, start at the top. Read at the top real quick.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 30:1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse.
All right, what is the curse? One of the curses in Deuteronomy 28 chapter is we will come to Egypt again on ships. Who did that happen to? All right. What is this referring to? Go ahead.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy power hath driven thee.
Yeah, and who is doing that? Who's making all of these curses be called into mind? All right, who's saying that this happened to this particular people? All right, we're saying that hey, our people in our history we went into cargo slavery. All right, chattel slavery. We as a people were brought and sold. All right, was the so-called white man brought and sold as a nation of people? All right, was any of these other nations brought and sold? All right. All right, and did any of these other nations hang from trees? You know, in multitude or notoriously known for hanging from trees. All right, because our people are, man. All right, go ahead.
Verse 2. And shall return unto the Lord thy power, and shall obey his voice according to all that I commanded thee this day, that thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee.
Yeah, that's implying that somebody should be in slavery. The Lord thy power will turn thy captivity. All right, where are the people known for being in captivity or being brought into captivity? All right, go ahead.
And will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee.
Another scattering. All right, people scattered, people in captivity, people scattered. Go ahead.
Verse 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
So the Lord is going to gather thee and fetch thee, the Israelites. All right, go ahead.
Verse 5. And the Lord thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Now this is the point that I wanted to bring in, because hey, the Lord is going to bring us back into our land. The true children of Israel, the Lord is going to fetch us from the four corners of the earth, all right, and gather us and bring us into the land. That's going to be the people. That's going to be known who the Lord's people are, and that's a part of our. That's what we're teaching. We're teaching that we're hopefully, Lord's will, we're going to be those people that the Lord is going to gather. All right, the men that listen, the confusion of faces that you saw, all right, that made the videos, said, "Am I a black Hebrew Israelite?" All right, because we're going to come in all different shades, all different colors, and look like all different nations. All right. All right, go ahead and read 6 real quick.
Verse 6. And the Lord thy power will circumcise thine heart.
See, Moses even spoke about it. The Lord will circumcise thine heart. All right.
And the heart of thy seed,
meaning the heart of thy seed, the people, the children that come up out of us. All right. He's going to bless the Israelite seed. All right. All right, go ahead.
And with to love the Lord thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Yeah, so we're gonna be made to do that. All right, so we're gonna live that thou mayest live. All right, and that's eternal life, man. And that goes to the Israelites, man. That's not to these other nations. They don't have this hope. That's why they don't speak. You don't see the other nations speaking this word. All right, speaking what we speak, according to the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, which is a dark-skinned man. All right, an image of the Father. They're dark-skinned men. All right, they're men that look like us. All right, that relate to us. All right, that think like us, man, according to these scriptures. All right. Y'all got any other words? Did we cover all the topics, you know?
For the most part, I just got one more.
Yeah.
You know? This is and this is what Peter preaching to Cornelius, man, because like we were saying, how at one point the Jews didn't see the other Israelites as Israelites, man. You know? But this is what Peter said to Cornelius. This is Acts 10, verse 34, it says, Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth, I perceive that the Most High is no respecter of persons. Right. He not just choosing the Jews in the land. You know, the Most High, he doesn't look on the flesh and things of that nature, man. You know, he looks on the spirit and that faith. He says, But in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. The word which the Most High sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahweh Mashiach, he is the Lord of all. So here it is, it just said, in every nation. You know? It says, the Lord, the ones that fear him and work in righteousness is accepted with him. But that same word was preached only to Israel. You know?
You gotta read it again. Just read it again. Just read it through, you know?
Con, this is Acts 10, verse 34. It says, Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth, I perceive that the Most High is no respecter of persons, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. The word which the Most High sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahweh Mashiach, he is Lord of all. And I wanted to just say, you can tell how ingrained, because when he got that, because the Lord, Peter got that vision from the Lord. And he said, Call no thing unclean which I've made clean. Okay? So it was ingrained in them that, you shouldn't deal with those Gentiles, man, because they was unclean. You know? And even after that fact, that's why Paul had to get on them. He was like, he said, why are you doing that? You know? Because Paul didn't want to sit with them at one point. Not Salakia. Peter didn't want to sit with the Gentiles when the circumcised came around, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how ingrained it was, where they didn't want to deal with the uncircumcised or the Israelite foreigners, man. You know? But even at that point right here, he said, of a truth, I can see the Most High is no respect of persons. He's not just dealing with the men that's the traditional Israelites, man. You know? And that's what you people don't understand, man. You know? You may look at us and think that we are just black Hebrew Israelites, man, because that's what y'all put on us. You know? You may look at us and we are brown-skinned, you know? Hey, but that's not who we... If you actually sat down and listened to the videos, we talking to... we say that these men may be Israelites. We had Jake, I believe it's Jake, that come past the camp this past week.
Yeah,
you know, he said he was Vietnamese and what, French?
Yeah.
You know, we believe that man is a Jake.
He is a Jake.
So if you sat down there and watched the videos and you actually looked at the so-called Latinos, you wouldn't say that.
Yeah, you remember that the Vietnam, all right, that area of Vietnam, Southeast Asia was colonized by the French, all right, and there was a war in the 60s, all right, in which the French got kicked out of there and America came in there, all right, so, you know, seed was spread throughout there, all right, in Vietnam.
This
All right.
is one last scripture.
Mm-hmm.
This is Isaiah 14:1. It says, For Yahweh will have mercy on Salakia. It says, For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right, and the strangers can be another word for Gentiles. This is talking about the Israelite foreigners, you know, the ones that was you know,
Going back to the ensign,
yeah,
what is it, Isaiah 11?
yeah, what we read earlier. Right, now it said, and they shall be joined with us, you know. So this is just the coming back. This is future prophecy. So explain this next verse, vocab. Verse 2, it says, And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh Bashem Shah for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
See, this is a promise to the nation of Israel. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Cherry Love, man. That she's a fool, man. The other dude, that's a fool, man. All right, because these promises are made for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true Israelites, and the ones scattered amongst the Gentiles that are Israelites. All right.
Yo, Hey, it's funny because the ones that were scattered, they feel the same way, man. They want to possess these heathens, man. Because, hey, all our people's under the curses, and wherever they go, because the scriptures say, cursed shall I be in the field, and cursed shall I be in the city. Cursed shall I be in the city, and cursed shall I be in the field. So wherever they go, they been under these curses too. So they feel the same way, man. They want these heathens under subjection, no matter how they look, because they always been the damn outcasts, either wherever they go, you know.
And the thing is, these heathens know that future prophecy, and they try and get out of being slaves, man.
Yeah.
Yo, ultimately, like Revelation say, you know, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into
Yeah,
captivity.
you gotta get your judgment, man.
Yeah,
That's
right.
why all of these terrible things are happening. You got the car fire in California.
Yeah.
You got the volcanoes going off. You got the threat of war. You got the threat of economic collapse. All these things are happening because the Lord is getting ready to manifest who His true children of Israel are. All right.
Yeah.
So the fight amongst the fight that vocab has with us, all right, it's not a fight against us. It's a fight against the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man.
Facts.
All right. And guess what? The Lord is going to bring forth judgment to where you can't. YouTube is going to be done away with soon, man.
Right.
All right. You ain't gonna be making YouTube videos and your followers are gonna be dying. All right. They're gonna be suffering in America, man.
That's
All
right.
right. Of course, they're gonna be a part of the vision and the prophecies. All right. The desolation. All right. The famines, the pestilence, all of that, man. All right. But at the end of the day, this doctrine is gonna stand. There will be, pursuant to the book of Revelations, the mixed multitude. It talks about the mixed multitude, and you know, what is it, Revelation 7? You can bring that out. This is a vision of the Lord, and this is going to be a vision of, you're going to have different, you know, different men out of each nation, but they're going to be Israelites, all right? And this is a vision of the gathering right here. Go ahead.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
This is Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number.
This is what he saw. This is what John the Revelator saw. The Lord gave John the Revelator this vision, man. All right, go ahead.
Of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
Stood before the throne and stood before the Lamb. Yahweh Shah is there, you know? All right, and it's that great mixed multitude of the Israelites that believe on Yahweh Shah, the Lamb, man. All right, not no Edomite, man. Vocab is not going to be in the midst of that. All right, all these other nations, Dr. James White, all of these Edomites, they're not going to be a part of that, man. It's going to be Israelites, man, with the same spirit of Yahweh Shah, you know, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, man. All right, and they're going to give praises and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And they coming out the Philippines, they coming out South Africa, all right, they coming out to Europe, all right, Russia, all different areas, man. All right, and Esau can't stop it. All right, and they gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah like we are, you know. They all praise and call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah Bashem Kodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, man. Teaching His word. Is there any other last words, man? Next episode, Shalom.
Shalom.